My wife said I was beneath her level, so I ended the marriage that night. The moment that changed my life lasted less than 10 seconds. I had just walked through my front door after another 12-hour shift when I heard my wife laughing with her friends in the living room. Then she said something I was never supposed to hear. "Let's be honest, this marriage won't survive another year. He's beneath my level now." The room exploded with laughter. I stood frozen in the hallway, my lunch bag still hanging from my hand. For a second, I wondered if I had misunderstood. I hadn't. One of her friends raised a glass and smiled. "You should have left him months ago." Another nodded. "You're wasting your best years." My wife shrugged dramatically. "I'm just waiting for the right time." I stepped into the room. The laughter disappeared instantly. Four pairs of eyes turned toward me. My wife's smile vanished. "Oh, you're home." "I am," I replied calmly. The silence became almost painful. I looked at every person sitting there before my eyes settled on my wife. "So, another year?" She blinked nervously. "What? You said this marriage won't last another year." Her face turned pale. "That's not what I meant." It sounded pretty clear. One of her friends quietly picked up her purse. Another suddenly became very interested in her phone. Nobody laughed anymore. "You were listening?" my wife asked. I didn't have to listen. I smiled politely. "You were speaking loud enough for the neighbors." She walked toward me. "Can we talk upstairs?" I shook my head. "Why? Everything important was already said down here." She lowered her voice. "You're embarrassing me." I couldn't help but laugh. "No, you already handled that part." The room felt colder than before. I placed my truck keys on the table. "You don't have to wait another year." Her eyebrows tightened. "What are you talking about?" "I agree." She stared at me. "If I'm really beneath your level." I picked up my keys again. "Then let's end this tonight." Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. Even her friends looked shocked. "You can't be serious," she whispered. "I've never been more serious." She grabbed my arm. "You're overreacting." I gently removed her hand. "No." I finally reacted. Without another word, I walked upstairs. Every step felt strangely peaceful. Instead of anger, I felt relief. Inside our bedroom, I grabbed a small travel bag and packed only what I actually needed. Jeans. Work clothes. Toothbrush. Phone charger. The wedding photo on the dresser caught my attention. For years I had looked at that picture believing we were building a future together. Now, it looked like a photo of two strangers pretending to smile. Behind me, my wife stood silently in the doorway. "I didn't mean it like that." I zipped the bag shut. "Then how did you mean it?" She opened her mouth. But no words came out. She looked at the floor before whispering, "I was just frustrated." I nodded. "No, you were honest." There was a huge difference. She stepped closer, tears beginning to form. "Please don't leave." I picked up my bag. "You already left this marriage. I'm just the last one to realize it." I walked downstairs. Her friends stood awkwardly near the front door. None of them could even look at me. One quietly muttered, "I'm sorry." I simply nodded and walked outside. The cool evening air hit my face as I climbed into my truck. For the first time in months, I could breathe. That night I checked into a small roadside motel 20 minutes away. The room wasn't nice. The mattress was thin. The air conditioner rattled constantly. But it was peaceful. My phone lit up almost immediately. 37 missed calls. 52 text messages. "Come home." You're being ridiculous. We need to talk. I'm sorry. Please answer. I didn't reply. Around 6 the next morning my phone rang again. This time it wasn't my wife. It was Emma. One of the women who had been sitting in my living room. I almost ignored the call. Instead, I answered. Hello. Her voice sounded nervous. I need to tell you something. I'm listening. What you heard yesterday wasn't the first time. A cold feeling spread through my chest. What do you mean? She's been telling people for months that she wanted a divorce. I stayed silent. Emma continued. She already met with a lawyer. My grip tightened around the phone. She planned to make you leave first. So everyone would think you abandoned the marriage. I closed my eyes. Everything suddenly made sense. The constant criticism. The arguments over nothing. The way she kept pushing every conversation into a fight. She wasn't trying to save the marriage. She was trying to end it on her terms. Why are you telling me this? I finally asked. Because what happened yesterday crossed a line. And because you deserve the truth. After hanging up, I called a family attorney before driving to work. By lunchtime, I had my first consultation scheduled. Over the next few days I documented everything. Bank records. Messages. Photos. Every conversation went through my lawyer. My wife kept trying to contact me. I never answered. For the first time since our wedding. I chose peace instead of another argument. 3 weeks later we signed the divorce papers. She avoided eye contact the entire time. As I walked out of the courthouse, my lawyer smiled. You handled this better than most people. I looked up at the clear blue sky. It wasn't easy. No. But it was necessary. Months passed. I earned a promotion at work. Moved into my own apartment. Started sleeping through the night again. One Saturday afternoon I ran into one of my old coworkers at a neighborhood coffee shop. We talked for nearly 2 hours. There was no pretending. No insults. No games. Just easy conversation. When I walked back to my truck, I realized something. Losing my marriage hadn't ruined my life. Staying in it would have. Sometimes the greatest act of self-respect isn't winning an argument. It's quietly walking away from someone who has already decided they don't value you. That evening my phone buzzed one final time. A message from an unknown number. Do you ever regret leaving? I looked at the screen for a long moment. Then I smiled. I deleted the message without replying. Because some questions no longer deserve an answer. Sometimes the strongest response is the life you build after walking away.